Moving on, now that the staging tables are filled with data, we have reached another important phase, preparing those tables for the final transfer to SAP S/4HANA. This step ensures that everything is set up correctly, that there are no hiccups when we begin migrating the data. The prepare action is a crucial part of the process. The system will prompt you to run it for each migration object. Essentially, this action gets your staging tables in the proper state for data migration by validating the structures, checking the data consistency, and aligning everything with the SAP S/4HANA requirements. The key thing to remember here, every time you add new data to the staging tables, you must repeat this step. The system needs to revalidate any new or changed information to ensure that there are no errors during the actual migration. So, if you're working multiple test migrations or uploading fresh data, always run prepare again. Be mindful of your data structures, especially if you're handling complex objects. Small discrepancies at this stage will lead to larger issues during migration, so it's worth double checking here. One of the great features of the SAP S/4HANA Migration Cockpit is the monitoring tool. This allows you to keep a close eye on the preparation process. The system provides real-time feedback on the status of your staging tables, highlights any issues that need to be addressed. During monitoring, you'll see the status of each migration object, if it was successful, the preparation, or if there were errors that were detected. This tool ensures that you can troubleshoot any problems early on, giving you some peace of mind before you proceed with the final migration. So addressing errors if any issues arise, such as missing or incorrect data in the staging tables, the system will alert you. From here you can go back, correct the errors, and rerun the prepare action. It's a repetitive but crucial step to ensure data integrity. Always monitor the process after each preparation step. This ensures that nothing slips through the cracks and that your migration will be as seamless as possible. Now that we've prepared the staging tables, it's time to tackle one of the most critical aspects of the migration process, mapping tasks. This is where we ensure that the data from your legacy system correctly aligns with SAP S/4HANA, allowing for a smooth and accurate transfer. So understanding value mapping, it's where you define the relationships between the values used in your old system and those used in SAP S/4HANA. For instance, your legacy system might use certain codes for things like customer types, product categories, payment terms. These codes need to be matched to the equivalent codes in SAP S/4HANA. If your old system categorizes customers with codes like C001 for premium customers, you'll need to map these codes to the appropriate customer categories in SAP S/4HANA. Always cross-check your mappings to ensure consistency. Even a small mismatch here again can lead to incorrect data being imported into SAP S/4HANA. This can cause complications, right? Processing and confirming mapping tasks. So each migration object comes with several mapping tasks, and before you can proceed with the migration, these tasks must be processed and confirmed. So you have to review the list of mapping tasks that need attention. Value mappings, fixed value assignments, custom mappings, depending on your data and the system configuration. Then you have to enter the target values for each task. You'll need to manually enter the corresponding target values from SAP S/4HANA. If you've mapped product categories, make sure each source code has the correct equivalent on SAP S/4HANA. Then confirm the mapping tasks. Once the target values are entered, you'll need to confirm them. Only after all mapping tasks have been confirmed can the system proceed with data transfer. Some are straightforward, but others may require more detailed analysis. It is crucial to go through each task carefully and ensure all values are correctly aligned with SAP S/4HANA. Any unconfirmed tasks will hold up the migration process. Now that we have prepared our staging tables and handled the mapping tasks, it's time to simulate the migration. This step helps you foresee any potential issues and resolve them before the actual data transfer, giving you a safeguard against unexpected problems in your live environment. The simulate action is a powerful tool. When you run a simulation, the system essentially performs a dry run of the migration, but where no data is actually written to the SAP S/4HANA system. Instead, this simulation goes through all the motions of the migration process. It will give you a clear idea of what will happen when the real migration takes place. Very important, because you get a report that highlights any errors or warnings that might arise during the actual data transfer. This can include everything from data mismatch, missing values, structure issues, and so on. So after running this simulation, when you review the report, you have also the possibility to make the necessary adjustments, fixing data, adjusting or resynchronizing the staging tables. This is like a rehearsal for the big event, right? The more thoroughly you address the flagged issues, the smoother your actual migration will be. In some cases, running the simulation can reveal additional mapping tasks that weren't visible during the initial setup. This is a common occurrence, especially with more complex migration objects that involve multiple data fields or intricate relationships between legacy data and SAP S/4HANA. This happens because when the system goes through the simulation, it processes the staging tables as if it were performing the actual migration. During this process, it may identify values that didn't require mapping earlier, but that now are necessary for data consistency. This can include fields that may have been overlooked or scenarios where default mappings don't match the target SAP S/4HANA values. Again, it will be highlighted by the system. You'll need to revisit the mapping section, assign the appropriate target values, and confirm these tasks. Once this is done, you have to, or it is a good idea to run the simulation again to make sure that everything this time is aligned perfectly. So this is the big moment, final moment, executing the data migration. This is where all your careful planning and mapping and simulations pay off, as you transfer the data from your staging tables to your live SAP S/4HANA environment. When you're ready to begin, you select the migration object you've been working on. Simply choose the migrate action. This will trigger the system to start moving the data from the staging tables directly into SAP S/4HANA. This process itself is straightforward, but it's very important that the previous steps, preparing, mapping, simulating, have been done correctly to ensure a smooth transfer. One of the great features of the migration cockpit is that it only migrates data that hasn't been transferred yet. This means that if you've already migrated part of your data or had to correct and rerun the migration, the system won't create any duplicate entries. It's designed to pick up where it left off, ensuring data integrity throughout the process. Before executing the migration, take one final moment to ensure that all data has been validated, staging tables are prepared, and mapping tasks have been all confirmed. This is your last checkpoint before moving live data. Once the migration begins, you can monitor the process in real time. Migration status, you'll see the status indicators for each object, showing whether the migration is in progress, completed, or if any issues have occurred. Handling errors, you can use correction files for handling errors to address and solve these. The system will generate a file that lists all the problematic instances, allowing you to adjust them and rerun the migration just for those instances.